I'm Harry, 32, oldest son, family mediator by default, lawyer by profession. And on New Year's Eve, I handed my mother a screen showing my brother's forged signature on my graduation invitations, and watched the room unravel like a sweater with one bad tug. The living room looked like Christmas had overstayed its welcome, fairy lights still up, cheap glittery hats on the couch, and a big bowl of punch that tasted like nostalgia and too much nutmeg. I stood by the coat rack, taking a minute before joining the herd. I'd driven an hour and a half because Mom said it would mean a lot. Just come by, she'd said. For me. So I did. And no sooner had I stepped in, barely got one glove off, Mom's voice rang out like she was playing to the balcony. Why didn't you come to your brother's graduation? It wasn't a question. It was a scalpel. And the room went church quiet. I blinked. Which one? She gave that tight you-know-damn-well look. Your only brother. Max. The ceremony. The reception. Everything. You didn't show. I felt it then, the pivot of the room. Cousins glancing over their plastic cups. Aunt Marla holding her phone at that angle that pretends not to record but always is. Max, of course, was already across the room, lifting his glass to toast a joke I didn't hear, the usual Crown Prince grin on his face. Max had charm that smelled like sunscreen and bad decisions. Even in winter, he looked like summer break. I took a breath. I had mine too. Mom tilted her head like I'd spoken a different language. My graduation, I said louder. Same month. Law school. You were invited. The silence dipped deeper. Mom's mouth curled. We never got anything. A pause. Then she added, Maybe you forgot. I pulled out my phone like it was a cross exhibit. Opened the photos. Scrolled past contracts, receipts, and a picture of the bakery cat curled in a napkin display. Found the folder, certified mail. I held it up. 3 invitations, I said. Sent to you, Dad and Max. All signed for. All delivered. She squinted, annoyed by reality. Don't be dramatic, Harry. I zoomed in on the signature. Max's name. 3 times. Max laughed softly behind his beer. Must have been a prank. You know I don't sign for everyone else's stuff. He did, though. He always had his hand out by the door, grabbing mail like it owed him rent. Bills, checks, junk. Everything passed through him like a low-rent gatekeeper. I kept my voice level. The postmarks on it. The scan. The carrier log. You signed on behalf of the household. Mom's voice went brittle. This is not the time. Dad didn't look up from the football game on his phone. Harry, could you not make a scene? My jaw clenched. Classic. Me? The scene. Max? The shrug. Max lifted his glass again. No hard feelings, big bro. We'll toast your thing now. What was it again? You finally got a job? And right there, with 10, 9, 8 ticking down on the TV, I knew. The problem wasn't the missed graduation. It wasn't the invitation. It was that no matter how many documents I had, how many receipts, or how much effort I proved, they would still choose the prettier story. And I wasn't in it. Let me explain something about Max. He was never malicious. Not exactly. Max wasn't the guy who pushed you down the stairs. He was the one who left the skateboard at the top, then blinked real wide when you fell. He lived in this magical zone of accidents that benefit Max. And me? I lived in the zone of consequences. From the time we were kids, he was joy in class, and I was works hard. He forgot things, and I remembered them for him. He showed up late with a joke. I showed up early with the paperwork. He once borrowed my ID to get into a bar and got caught. I paid the fine. He thanked me by texting. LOL, my bad. Love you, bro. Our family played favorites. They just didn't admit it. I used to think that if I stacked up enough right answers, I'd finally get treated like I mattered. Spoiler, you can't spreadsheet your way into being seen. After law school, I moved into a 1-bedroom above a bakery that smells like heaven at 4 a.m. I framed my diploma and hung it straight. No ceremony. No photos with flowers. Just a nail in a wall and a moment of quiet. And Max? Max got a catered reception with a live band and a giant marquee that said maximum achievement. I wish I were kidding. My inbox flooded with family photos. Max in a gown, grinning. Mom on his arm. Dad holding a drink. Everyone smiling like it was the wedding of the decade. I got one text from Dad 3 days later. Hey, you good? Max's thing was nice. Shame you didn't come. I almost replied. Shame you didn't come to mine. I didn't. Because I knew what would happen. The deflection. The sigh. Don't be bitter, Harry. They always made my hurt sound like overreaction. So I did what I always do, I swallowed it. Until New Year's. Until the punch bowl. Until the question. Why didn't you come to your brother's graduation? And when I showed them proof, literal proof, that I had invited them to mine, that Max had intercepted every envelope like a porch pirate in a hoodie, they brushed it aside. The line Mom gave me, flat and final. We never got anything. As if evidence doesn't count when it's inconvenient. As if my whole existence could be reduced to poor communication. That night, I left just after the fireworks. I didn't say goodbye. I didn't want to hear the apologies that always arrived 10 months late and 10 pounds too light. I walked home in the cold and thought about the envelopes. About how silence, in my family, was the strongest form of denial. And I made a decision. Not a rage decision. A legal one. I was done giving the benefit of the doubt to people who weaponized doubt against me. I'm a lawyer. I don't yell. I build a case. And this time? The case was mine. The shift didn't come with fanfare. No grand confrontation, no thrown wine glass or dramatic door slam. It came with a group chat message that looked harmless. Mom. Hey everyone! Let's get organized this year. Two Hearts cabin trip in June. Harry, can you handle the deposit like always? We'll Venmo after taxes. Like always. Like clockwork. Like I was still the silent subsidy for every plan they made and half executed. I stared at that message longer than I cared to admit. Not because I didn't know what to say, but because I did. I typed. No. Silence. For 5 minutes then. Max. Wait. What do you mean no? Mom. Harry, don't start with the attitude. Dad. Let's just talk this through calmly. I typed again. I'm not fronting group expenses anymore. I won't be reimbursed after tax season. I won't put it on my card and wait 6 months. 3 dots from Max disappear. Reappear. Like Morse code for manipulation. Then it dropped. Max. You're being weird, man. You love planning this stuff. Me. I don't love being the wallet. Mom. Honey, you're tired. Don't make this about money. Me. It's about respect. Max. Dude. Come on. You ghost for months, then show up with spreadsheets like you're cross-examining us. Me. I am a lawyer, Max. And I'm your brother. Start acting like it. There was a beat of quiet. The kind that lands with gravity. Then I did it. The thing I'd been avoiding for years because I didn't want to look petty or bitter or, God forbid, dramatic. I opened Excel. And I started typing. 5 years of transfers. Float amounts. Payments. The emergency rent cover from when Max's crypto pivot flopped. The dentist bill I paid for Mom because she said the insurance was complicated. The hotel bookings. The tire replacement. The just till next Friday. As that turned into black holes. By the end of the night, the spreadsheet looked like evidence. Not because I planned to send it. But because I needed to see it. Total, $46,208.57. I sat back. Covered my face with my hand. That wasn't generosity. That was a pattern. I wrote one more message. I'm stepping back. Don't ask me to manage or fund anything. No cabin. No reunions. No deposits. No, can you just? I'm not the fallback anymore. 10 minutes later, my phone rang. Mom. I let it ring out. She tried again. Then again. Then a text. Answer now. This is not who you are. I picked up the 4th call. Put her on speaker. Stared at the counter instead of the screen. Her voice was the same one she used with landlords, waiters, and retail managers. Icy sweet. Harry, you're scaring me with this behavior. It's a boundary. I said. No. She snapped. It's cold. You're not like this. You're generous. You're family-oriented. Don't let your job turn you into someone who keeps score. My job taught me the difference between generosity and enabling. Oh, she said as if I'd slapped her. So now you think you're better than us? No, I said. I think I'm done paying for the same lesson. She exhaled hard. Her go-to punctuation. Your brother is launching something big. He needs support. We all need to chip in. Define we. I said. Her silence answered for her. I didn't hang up. I let the silence stretch. I wanted her to feel how it feels when the safety net steps back and says, "No more." That was the night everything cracked. The old order. The family roles. The story where Max danced and I paid the band. They didn't realize it yet. But the courtroom was open. And I was finally calling witnesses. Dad's birthday dinner was the first time the rift became public. They booked the seafood place down by the river, paper tablecloths, crayons in a tin bucket, the kind of place where the waiter introduces himself 3 times because no one listens the first 2. 15 people at the table. Cousins, uncles, the aunt who always brings her own salad dressing. Max showed up late, of course, wearing a blazer over a t-shirt like he invented fashion and tardiness in one stroke. He kissed Mom's cheek, clapped Dad's shoulder, and slid into the seat across from me. He raised his eyebrows. "Counselor," he said, smirking like it was an inside joke. "Heard you're on strike." I kept my hands flat on the paper tablecloth. "I'm not a fund. Never asked you to be," he said. He smiled at the cousins like we were bantering. Mom sang out in her favorite tone, forced sing-song. "Let's not do this here." I looked at Dad. "Can we talk about the credit line thing?" He frowned like I'd used a foreign word. "What?" Max waved his hand. "Handled," he said. "Done and gone. Chill." I didn't chill. "You signed my name, Max." He shrugged. "I signed a paper at our house. You put your name on everything. Felt fair." I glanced around. No one blinked. No one gasped. It was like I'd said he borrowed a sweater. "That's identity theft." Big words, and Lena muttered, "Eat your bread, Harry." So I did the thing they all hate. I brought paper to dinner. Pulled a folder from my bag. Opened it like I was in court. Because honestly, I was. Laid out the bank email. The flagged transaction. The forged signature. The letter from the fraud department. The note that the account was closed. Due to security concerns. I'd blacked out the balances. Dignity still matters, even when you're drawing a line. Max flipped through a page. Laughed weakly. "You keeping tabs on me like this?" "I'm keeping track of me," I said. Mom reached across the table and gently pushed the folder back toward me with a smile that had the warmth of a freezer door. "He's showing off," she said to the table. I left the folder there. "I'm done covering anything," I said. "No cabin. No deposits. No just till Friday. No more put it on your card and we'll Venmo you later. No more signatures on my behalf. No more pretending you weren't invited when you were. No more." Max's eyes sharpened. That's his first mode, aggression. "You're trying to humiliate me." Mom leaned in next, whisper soft and guilt-tipped. "What happens to us if you stop?" Dad, finally lifting his head from the appetizer menu, went for the kill. "Who do you think you are without this family, Harry?" And that right there, that line? That was the legacy in a single sentence. I thought of my graduation photo. A lone brick wall. The nail that still hangs crooked. "I'm someone with a spine," I said. Then I slid my card into the portable reader. "Put mine on this," I told the waiter. "Only mine." I stood. The chair made a tired sound. I left before the chorus started, the one where they call me selfish and dramatic and cold. Outside, the river looked like it didn't know our names. And for the first time, I didn't feel guilty. I felt steady. Boundaries aren't walls. They're fences you have to keep repainting, even when it rains. The chat exploded the next morning like it had been waiting for a trigger. "Mom, that display last night? Unacceptable. Max, you made Dad's birthday about you. Dad, you embarrassed your mother. And yourself." I didn't reply. I muted the thread. I went for a run. 3 miles in, I realized something wild. My breath wasn't catching. Not from the cold, not from the guilt. I was clear. When I got home, I cooked. Not a microwave meal. Real food. Garlic. Basil. Pasta that didn't come from a packet. My apartment smelled like effort instead of exhaustion. The bakery cat watched me from the windowsill, tail flicking like a metronome. He meowed once, judgmental, as always. Later, I unmuted the thread just long enough to upload a photo. 3 certified mail receipts. Max's signature, clear and confident. Then I wrote, "You got the invitations, Max." He replied in under 10 seconds. "Max. Dude. Let it go." I typed. I did. For years. Mom switched to voice message, her favorite mode when she wanted plausible deniability. Harry, honey, you're tired. Don't make everything about money. But it wasn't about money. It was about erasure. In this family, silence was comfort, and I was the only one who seemed to feel the cost of that. So I did something radical. I documented. I gathered screenshots. Transfers. Credit pulls. The entire trail. Not to send. Just to see. Like turning on a light in a basement you've ignored too long. I built a folder labeled Clarity. Inside. The forged credit line form. My bank's fraud email. The group chat screenshot where Max said, "You know Harry always pays eventually." The Airbnb receipt for that weekend Mom and Dad got a surprise trip, which I covered and Max never paid back. The invoice I canceled for Max's failed startup branding, complete with bro discount. All of it. I read it like someone else's life. Then I stared at the total value. $46,208.57. And counting. I closed the laptop, leaned back, and for the first time in a decade, asked myself a question I never really said out loud. What would it look like if I didn't fix everything? No birthday dinners planned. No deposits covered. No guilt interest collected by the people who taught me love was logistical. I wanted to find out. So I posted a final message to the group. I love this family. But I will no longer act as its accountant, travel agent, financial backer, or emotional shock absorber. I'm here if you want to talk like adults. But I will not pretend anymore. Then I turned off notifications. And for once, the silence felt like a window opening, not a door slamming shut. 6 months later, life looks the same from a distance. But up close, it's like someone finally focused the lens. I still live in the same one bedroom above the bakery, where the cat now waits every morning by my door like a carb-seeking missile. My routines haven't changed much. I run, I read, I work, I cook. But something internal shifted. That buzzing tension in my chest? Gone. The reflexive flinch every time my phone lit up with family chat, FM Blueheart. Quieted. It's like I finally learned the sound of my own mind without the background hum of being responsible for everyone else's chaos. Max didn't become a different person overnight. But he did something unexpected. He stopped pretending. He still texts like it's a Morse code emergency. What's APR again? Can I ask you something non-financial? Our store credit cards always traps. But now there's no bro spot me hidden inside the question. Just curiosity. Effort. That's new. 3 weeks ago, he even sent me a screenshot, a small payment, on time. Caption. Look at me adulting. It's terrifying. I replied with a thumbs up and resisted the urge to fix his budgeting spreadsheet. That's not my job anymore. I offer help only when he asks. And that, honestly, feels cleaner than any balance sheet. Mom still drifts between guilt and politeness like it's a season change. She tries. Sends photos of her garden. Her wrist fully healed, thank God. She texts things like, "Made apple crumble. Wish you were here." No requests tacked on. Just small bridges made of crumbs. Dad takes longer. Pride is his native language, and apologies don't translate easily. But he's softer around the edges now. He called me last week and said, "Can you walk me through renewing my license online?" I stayed on the phone while he clicked, cursed, and clicked again. When he finally got it, he said, "Thanks, counselor." But this time, it wasn't a joke. Just quiet gratitude. The family chat is subdued. Mom sends bullet point updates now instead of action items. Dad's dental checkup went fine. Max's project is crawling forward. Don't forget Grandma's birthday. No more, Harry, can you handle deposits? Not since I replied once with just no. The word held like rebar in concrete. Max still posts the occasional motivational meme. Family is everything. Tough times make stronger bonds. I don't roll my eyes as hard anymore. I don't reply either. That's his way of working through shame. I've learned I don't have to decode everything. Some people are on page 3 of their journey while you're on chapter 12. Doesn't mean either of you is wrong. The spreadsheet? I kept it. But I added a new tab. Column A, what I give. Column B, what I keep. What I give now. Time when I choose it. Advice if it's requested. Space when it's needed. My real self, not the version that pays for peace. What I keep. My quiet. My rest. My name. My boundaries. The number at the bottom? There is no total. Because this one doesn't need math. It just needs truth. I check it every so often when guilt taps like a leaky faucet. Last week, Max did something small and strange. He mailed me a card. Not a text. An actual envelope, stamp and all. Inside was a photo. 3 certified mail receipts. Dated. Each with the right name. Not his. Mine. He wrote under it. Thought you'd like to know. Finally signed by the right people. Then below that, in sloppy ink. Still mad at you sometimes. Still love you always. I smiled. Put the card in the folder labeled Clarity. That night, I walked past my diploma. It finally hangs straight. I never noticed when it tilted. I just lived with it. That's the thing about imbalance. When it starts early, it feels like home. But this feels like something new. Balance. Boundaries. Love that isn't bartered. Here's what I know now. A graduation isn't just a ceremony. It's a milestone of effort. And when no one shows up, you learn the hard way that love with conditions isn't love. It's convenience. You also learn that showing up for yourself counts too. My graduation photo? Still just me against a brick wall. But now I see it differently. Not lonely. Self-made. And one day, when the family finally catches up, if they do, and say, "Why didn't you just let it go?" I'll say, "I didn't let it go. I let myself go." From the weight. Love isn't measured by how many emergencies you absorb. It's measured by who honors your no as much as your yes. I don't carry the family anymore. I carry myself. And that's not selfish. That's survival. That's healing. That's home.